friends, welcome to the 7th episode of FinWiz, the Friday's Fire Chats. And we have with us today Mr. Ravi Shankar. Hi, Ravi sir, how are you?
I'm good, Subhash. How are you?
Fantastic, Raviji. So, Ravi comes with an experience of about 12 years plus from the US in a software industry. And after he came back to India, last 1 decade, he is running a successful software company, Soft Technologies. And they were the ones who were instrumental in getting my website up and running. Thanks a lot, Raviji, for that.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, and their company is into software development with more than 30 plus employees, and he has a daughter and a son. Most importantly, why he is joining us today is because he has got a daughter who is just crossed her teens and become a major, crossed age of 18. And today we are going to discuss about how we can inculcate some good financial habits to the children who have just turned 18. Yes, Raviji.
So, Subhash, yes, I saw your last two episodes. One was about the children, very young children, and then about the teens, because my son is, of course, in the teens, although my daughter has changed, turned to major. So it was very interesting when you talked about how, teens, financially, how they can be equipped. So I was just wondering now that you've talked about the teens, what about the majors? That is, children who have just, adolescents who have just become, majors and, cross the 18. So it is a big major step, right? I mean, like everything changes. Till you're 18, you are like protected by everything. Now you are on your own. So I really wanted to know more about, how it is after you become a major.
First thing, Raviji, what I would say is, this is the time when most of our documents are going to be useful in life. In the sense, the first and most important document that anybody would ask going ahead is our 10th standard and 12th standard mark certificate. So along with this, you will have to ensure that any document going ahead, be it a driving license that you're going to get, or if you're not got your PAN card, you should get a PAN card, you should apply one. And most of us might have an Aadhaar card we have taken for children, but it is important to get your biometrics and everything updated in the Aadhaar. And if passport is not yet ready, if you have got a passport, maybe you'll have to go for the renewal. At that time, you need to give the documents right from your mark certificate to ensure that the passport is updated with all that. Or else you should definitely get a passport for your son or daughter who have turned 18. And when you get all these documents, please keep in mind that the name, be it the first name, middle name, last name, whatever be the name is printed perfectly right in all the documents. Those who believe in astrology want to get your name rectified and all, get everything right. But then it's very, very important at this stage, the documentation, whatever you're going to do is going to be useful for the entire life. Otherwise, tomorrow, putting a gazette for change of name and all that could be a little cumbersome process. So the reason why I was talking about getting your passport also in place is, there are children who want to go and study abroad. At that point in time, if you are getting an admission, you cannot run around for passport. Many a case, even the admission forms, the passport number has to be mentioned. Along with that, if let us say somebody is getting a job, okay, at that point in time, most of the job applications also today ask for a passport. So it is important to get these documents in place, number one.
Now that you've talked about passport, now comes the major challenge. As a minor, we would have opened a bank account for our children, and then they become major. So what are the steps that we really need to take when we turn major? Because that's a big change.
Correct. So once you have got your PAN and your Aadhaar is already in place, you need to do the KYC. That is, know your customer has to be done again that they have turned a major. You will have to update it with your bank, or if you have a post office account, be it a PPF or Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, you need to update all these. If you have got investments in mutual funds in the children's name, KYC has to be done for that also. So you need to submit along with your PAN card copy and address proof, any address proof, be it a voter ID or driving license or passport or Aadhaar, any of these can be submitted as an address proof, and they will capture your signature. So the first thing that needs to be done is getting the PAN, updating your address proof and PAN with your bank, and the attestation of the signature has to be done by the banker. The bank will capture their signature in their records. Once that is done, with all other investments, like for example, mutual fund or demat statement, the signature would have been only the guardians when they opened the account, if it was opened when they were minors. At this point in time, the signature of the child who has turned a major has to be updated. There are a couple of forms, minor to major, forms and all are there. Once all these forms are updated, then only the accounts which were earlier opened when they are minor will become operational, and the complete in charge of operating those accounts will be handed over to the child who has turned into a major. And at this stage, it is important as a parent, when we guide them, we should also help them in understanding how important it is to keep updating these records on a regular basis.
But I was of the opinion that just an Aadhaar card will do. So PAN card is absolutely necessary, right? I mean, even though they don't go for a job or anything, because a lot of us think that you don't need a PAN card till they go for a job.
Ravi, I remember a case where I had a client who had a grandson born. Okay, he was just 2 months old, and he had a PAN card. A 2 months old baby, the client of mine had applied a PAN card for his grandson. So PAN card can be obtained even if you are not having an income. The point is, most often what happens, PAN card becomes a proof of identity, ID. And many of these investments for the purpose of KYC, they capture the PAN number.
Okay, that's very useful information. So I think everybody would have noted that PAN card is as important to be got, whether you go for a job or not. So that now the next question that comes to my mind is, now you have the digital payments is the way to go now. And you see that the kids are, even as a kid, you actually understand how to do digital payments. You use GPay, PhonePe, everything, and then they transact a lot. So how to go about, say, once you become a major, next step is, of course, after you do the GPay and everything, you want, your children to get, once they become major, you want them to be financially, they have to understand, because all this CIBIL and everything comes up, because in future you need to get loans and everything. And they also need credit card. Is it advisable after you turn 18 to get a credit card for the children? What do you think about it?
Correct. See, if you're looking at, most of the transactions today are happening in the digital world with respect to using, be it your UPI payment gateways like GPay or PhonePe or Paytm, whatever it is. But at this time, you should also tell them that you need to be careful with whatever the two-factor verification, the PIN and everything is in place, but still there are a lot of scams that people fall prey to. Even people who are much senior in age, with a lot of experience, who are working in financial services companies itself, they fall prey to a lot of fraud. So it is important that we need to tell our children and make them sensitized to not falling a prey for these kind of, click this link, whatever comes in an SMS, and then your OTP and all that. So these things, you will have to sensitize them, number one. Number two, yes, getting a credit card is okay. You can definitely apply for a credit card. They might not get an individual credit card on their own name, but you can get a credit card based on whatever the bank that you have as an add-on card you can get for them. The point over here, when you're getting an add-on card, you can set separate limit under your primary limit. You can set a separate limit for the add-on card also, be it for every spending, or be it for overall spending in that particular day, or be it for the entire billing cycle, however it is. So you can set the limits so that it is not misused. I know that is also a fear that most of the parents do have, when they have not yet got control on their spending. How do I take charge of that? So you can keep a tab on how they are spending, and most importantly, it's getting them used to recording these expenses and sitting with them and making them understand where they are spending money and whether they are prudent in their spending habits. Most important at this point, you should also sensitize them that when they are spending money, it should be out of their own pocket money and it should be within that. And CIBIL is going to be important in their life, as you rightly said. So we should probably sensitize them on what is CIBIL and what will happen if we do not pay the bills on time. Yes. Most often what happens, the children will swipe, and the father or the mother, they will make the payment of the credit card bills.
Correct.
But then you should have a tab, how much is being spent and what for it is being spent. It should not be that we don't ask them any questions at all. Okay. Ask them right questions so that they don't feel delicate to answer. So getting them into a habit of proper spending is again critical, Ravi.
I think it is, yes. I think this is the age that they should really learn, because once they, in a job and they are suddenly 25 and they don't have a credit history, how difficult it is to get a loan or anything. I mean, everything they are like nowadays looking at credit scores. So, how important it is. So that's why I wanted to see, because credit card is one of the best instruments to, get a credit score. I mean, like, even it could be a secured credit card or whatever. So
Yes.
that's why I wanted to ask you that question, because I'm sure a lot of parents have this in their mind.
Yes.
Now looking at next item that comes to my mind is, of course, insurance is what comes to my mind. As in the 18, that's when you start driving your car, the bike, everything comes into the picture. That is the most scariest part for every parent. You don't want, whether you like it or not, at some point you have to let them drive. And I know insurance plays a major part. So what is your take on about insurance in, not only with respect to the, bike and car, but also in general, other insurances also, like health?
See, as soon as they start driving, I'm very sure as a responsible parent, we tell them that wear a helmet and drive. Okay.
Correct.
They should understand why they are wearing helmet. Why do you think, Raviji, it's important to wear a helmet?
For safety, definitely.
Of course, for safety of life, right? So similarly, most of us, we would have taken an insurance policy at the time of purchasing the vehicle. And I'm very sure we will be renewing that. They should understand why it is done. What is the purpose of insurance? What is the role that insurance plays? It is not just for the protection of the vehicle in case some damage happens to that. It is important they should understand that any of the asset, whichever be it a human life or be it the health or be it the vehicle that we use, okay? So they are valuable. And if there is any damage to that particular asset and it has a financial implication on the family, then it needs to be taken care. The risk has to be taken care, for which we are taking insurance. So we need to sit with our children, make them understand the role of insurance. Simple thing. If you see sports people, when they play any sport, be it football or be it cricket, if you look at cricket also, they wear a helmet. And there are many other guards also that they wear. It is to protect themselves so that they can play carefree. Happily, they'll be able to play with more confidence. So the reason of taking insurance is to protect any kind of financial risk that can arise because of any negligent action of the children. Okay, so we can tell them about personal accident policy, and I believe you should have a personal accident policy taken in their name. Along with that, a health insurance. Most of the parents would have already added them as a family floater. If you have taken for your family, maybe you, your spouse, and your children would be a part of the family floater. It is important to look at whether the limits are sufficient or you need to increase it. In case you want to take a separate plan, separate individual policy in the name of the son or the daughter who have turned major, it is also possible. Once they have turned 18, you can have a separate health insurance policy also in their name. So it is important to sensitize them about what is the role of insurance in our life. At this stage, yes, life insurance is not one of the most important priority, but it is important they understand that you have taken life insurance so that their goals and the family's lifestyle is protected. So this is the age that they will start understanding these things in a much more rational manner.
Definitely, I think, and especially when you talked about insurance, liability is an important part, right? Because third party,
Correct.
that's very essential. I think whether they have to take it anyway. So
yes,
I know that becomes very important. Yeah, insurance is definitely plays a major role. And we talk about financial goals for how to orient your young adult who will just turned adult. I mean, how to help them slowly become focus on the financial goals and other goals, of course, career goals and everything. Can we talk about that?
Fantastic, Raviji. We will definitely talk about it, but not in this episode, my dear friends. The next episode, we will talk about how important it is to help them with goal orientation, be it a midterm goal or long-term goal. How do we help our children who have turned a major to get oriented towards goal-based investments, and what are the various investments that you can expose them towards? But before that, if you like the video, please do go ahead and click the like button and share it with all your friends so that they can also probably get sensitized about all this information. And to get continuous updates on our FinWiz the Fridays Fire Chat series, do subscribe to our channel and don't forget to leave a comment of what you like the most about our discussion today. So for the rest of the questions, Raviji, whatever you ask, we will definitely catch up in our next episode of FinWiz the Fridays Fire Chats. Thank you, Raviji.
Thank you, Subhash.